in North Africa are thriving through new research by global accountancy firm PricewaterhouseCoopers. Its report into Africa, the continent's cities of opportunity, looked at indicators such as the economy, infrastructure, human capital, and population. Of the 20 cities it judged to be the most dynamic, 4 of the top 5 are in the north. Laura Burns reports. Well, joining me to discuss that report is Chika Chukwejukwu, who is the Africa Business Group Manager for PricewaterhouseCoopers, who published that report. Thank you very much indeed for coming in. First of all, how did you go about identifying the 20 African cities with the most promise, and were you at all surprised by the findings?
Not really, if you think about it. You have over 120 cities in Africa, but we sort of looked at a mixture of commercial capitals or administrative capitals and picked the 20 for there was a lot of activity and dynamism, and we could now look at those 20s and see what's the story, what are the numbers around those 20s. And as you mentioned, we've had the top 5 in North Africa, and we're not that surprised because if you think about what data currently exists about Africa, it's data that measures the current level of development, and a lot of these cities are older than sub-Saharan African cities, so they've had a longer period of time to be able to develop their infrastructure, develop their human capital, and the associated implications for society flourishing.
I would have thought that the growing incidence of terror activity, if you like, insurgencies and all that sort of thing in the northern part of Africa would have affected the potential of those cities.
Yeah, you would have thought so, but the thing is, have we captured the data to record that? I think when did the Arab Spring happen?
Yes, I see what you mean.
So when you look at, if you measure political risk indicators, they haven't yet captured that sort of data.
And of course your report talks about Africa being at an exceptional historical crossroads. What does that mean?
Well, it means that for a long time, Africa has been looked at like, to take to the extreme, diseased continent, the hopeless continent for a long time. And we've emerged at this point where Africa, in spite of all these challenges, is still posting, for some of the countries, double-digit growth, and the world is willing to pay attention to it. And apart from that, what you're seeing is also within Africa itself, emerging diaspora, emerging youth, emerging middle class that are rising to sort of say we want to put our mark on the narrative for Africa. And I think that's very exciting. So apart from just the economic indicators and the attention from the global investment community, it's also the awakening of Africans to say, look, we don't want to be victims anymore. We want to write our own narrative.
That's a very interesting point. And of course, the as you mentioned there, the top cities are all in North Africa. What about the ones that are coming after, in other words, the rest of the top 20? I mean, what do they need to do to move further up the pecking order, if you like?
I think the beauty of our report is breaking down what they need to do into several different. So if you look at just under the top 5, you have Accra, a relatively young city.
That's Accra, the capital of Ghana.
Yeah, the capital of Ghana. And then you have Nairobi and Lagos, tying for 7th. And then, just underneath them you have Abidjan, you have Addis Ababa, you have Kampala. So these are the emerging cities of the future, if you will. And when you look at the 29 indicators, if I were, say, the mayor of Addis Ababa or Abidjan, I'll be looking at, maybe if I improve transport, or airport connectivity, then I could move my city, just a little bit more up. So I think our report actually helps them break down what they need to do, so you don't have to get everything done immediately, but you can address 2 points, 3 points, and raise the ranking of your city.
And how do these cities compare on a global scale?
Well, as I mentioned, I think because our data looks at current level of development, they are not going to be quite close to cities like New York or London,
right.
What have you. But you never know what happens. Let's see what the next 10 years bring.
Okay, Chika Chukwejukwu, the African Business Group Manager for PricewaterhouseCoopers, who published that report we're just discussing. Thank you very much. Indeed, very interesting.